Okay, and welcome back to Tech Tuesday. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about this VsionAir setup that I have kind of put together for my live stream and recording. I needed a separate station that I could leave up and set up ready for any of the live feeds, and also just to do multi-camera recording of how-tos and things like that. So it started with this VsionAir system. What I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this Tech Tuesday into two. Because there's a lot going on here. So the first Tech Tuesday will be on the VsionAir system, and the second Tech Tuesday will be on actually the tech, the cameras and the hardware that goes with that. So the way this all started was with Dell Stanton. We were talking about, kind of getting this separate station set up, and Dell had developed this VsionAir system. It seemed perfect. It was just going to be as versatile as I needed. It would do everything and just hold everything, and it was expandable and just crazy. So what it starts with is this modular workstation, and that's this aluminum frame that's around the outside edge. And this mounts to a table. So if you can see by the wires, the aluminum bar is attached to the table. It's directly screwed into that table. And then the bars are all the same the V channel bars. This proprietary aluminum channeled bar is what they basically build the whole system off of. And it's an aluminum channel bar with channels on all four sides. So you'll see as we get into this, those channels will hold everything, and they're universal across the whole system, which is nice. So it mounts to a table. What I did for the table, I suppose I should start there, is I knew I wanted to mount the whole system and leave it set up permanently. So I ended up finding at a not a salvage place, but a place that buys out a lot of overstock, and they're great. They have a lot of industrial things. So I found this solid oak pub table, and that was perfect. I needed something solid. I'll show you why in a second. It needed to be strong, so I ended up getting this table, and specifically for this, so it worked out really well. It's a 4-foot table. The whole system, the whole modular workstation, I think comes in 3 different sizes depending on the width of your table. So it's really versatile. Everything on this moves, and I'll get into that in a second. So I had all that. I built the table, attached the bars. You can get the bars separately too. So you can see the front bar there, and then there's another one on the other side. And again, these hold all the accessories, and I'll have links to all the individual accessories that I use, but there are a ton of them. I'll also post a link to VsionAir's site so you can actually see everything. So there's a little spray out bucket. They have chemical holders. So I have one for isopropyl rubbing alcohol and one for water. They have the multifunction holder, which I have my spray out pot in. It's a Nuwata spray out pot. And then moving on from there, like I said, everything attaches. So the airbrush holders all attach in those frames. You can put them anywhere you want. I have 4 of them going up the side. The bottle holder there is, you can put it anywhere. So I modified mine. You'll notice there are 1-ounce bottles in there. That system comes set up to accept 2 and 4-ounce bottles. However, it was really, really easy to modify. All I did was got a sheet of 1-inch closed foam, just foam, and then I just marked off the 1-inch or the 1-ounce bottle holes, cut it out, and put it back together, and it was done. So really easy to modify. They don't offer a 1-ounce, but that's how I kind of got around it. Even the regulator has a holder. For this setup, I'm using my Hammerhead compressor, and that's got the fisheye filter on it. So the heart of this system is the airbrush workstation, that station right in the middle. And before I get to kind of explaining that, which it's pretty self-explanatory, I want to show you the base. So I have the desk stand for this system, and I got to sneak around the back here to show you. So this red panel here is a solid metal panel with a collar in it down below. And what happens is I went with this system because what I can do is I can actually remove that whole airbrush station, and they have a number of different jigs that hold different, everything you could think of. Canvas, motorcycle parts, guitars, skateboards, they have a jig for just about everything. So I wanted that versatility with this station in case I did other things. So I got the desk mount for it. Now, you'll notice the desk mount is almost in the middle of the table. You can just barely see it right there. I cut a slot in the table so that I could slide that plate back. Normally, if you see this online in another, almost dropped the phone. In another, like other variants of this, people mount this right to the front edge of the table. I wanted this kind of set back so that the workstation was flush with the edge of the table. So I just recessed it back. That goes back to why I needed a solid top table. That's got to hold a lot of weight. I was cutting basically a slot halfway through the table, so I really needed it solid. And this oak pub table is gigantic. It is more solid than I could ask. So that's kind of why I did what I did. And it works out really, really well. Like I said, that airbrush station is now flush with the front of the table, which it normally wouldn't have been. It would be out farther, which is fine, but I wanted it flush. So again, it's a modification. You can see that slot right there that I cut. And there's the underside of the channel with the receiver for that. So the actual workstation is, again, based off of the same channel. So it's really, really, really versatile. I have this reference holder on the side. The front of this, the panel, the works area is actually steel. I put a piece of craft paper to keep it clean, but it's steel, so all the magnets that I use work. Again, I'm always like making little things, like this is just a really stupid, simple holder for my iPad or my tablet. I mean, I do what I do with it, just kind of make all this stuff up. But yeah, all the components I just showed you will actually fit on the edge of this too. If you don't have a big setup, or you want the paint bottles right here, or you want your regulator right off the side, or a pencil holder, or whatever, it all fits, and you can put it anywhere you want. It's pretty amazing. It's like an erector set, so it really works out well. So this is the station that I'll be using now for all the live feeds, and again, multi-camera recording. I'll go over the cameras and the switcher and all the hardware that goes with that. As far as the backdrop goes, I just built that. It's pegboard, and my OCD made me do the trim in the same color as the VsionAir stuff. So I have some of the airbrushes mounted there. Makes it really easy. Excuse me. One quick note though. These clips here, these brackets that I use to attach, I wanted these bars, again, flush with the front edge. I wanted them to kind of mount right there, so I could just have everything right there. So these brackets aren't available from VsionAir. I made these, and actually I didn't even make them. They're Mending brackets, which you can get anywhere. So if a concrete wall has a crack in it, you get these steel Mending brackets, and then you can drive screws through it, and it holds the crack from expanding. So that's all I used. And again, I couldn't have them silver, so I painted them red. But it's Createx, by the way, so I mixed up a VsionAir color, and that's what I did. I know it's crazy, but I wanted it to look good too. So that's what those brackets are. Again, easy to find. I'll put a link to just the Mending brackets if you want to do the same kind of setup. Other than that, like I said, it's endless the way this works. These screws are available in a 10-pack too. So, for instance, like the monitor here, that's the monitor for the live feed cameras. All I did was take a piece of 063 aluminum and drilled some holes in it for the monitor and for the bracket for the screws, and the monitor, that's the monitor holder. So really, I mean, you can do a whole ton with it. You can do a lot with it. It's just, I mean, you can do everything with it. It's really, really endless what you can get away with kind of the setup. What I also love about this whole setup, I mean, what I have here has taken about 6 months to collect and build and put together. There's a lot here, But the beauty of this whole setup is you don't have to do it all in one shot. Everything is modular, everything is separate. So you can kind of pick at it and build your system slowly. You know, if you don't have a ton to invest in everything all at once. It's just great the way they set it up. So yeah, you can literally go nuts. One thing I'm going to do is there is a airbrush workstation that's independent. It doesn't sit on this bracket here. It just sits on a table. I am going to get one of those because I have this whole setup now. When I take the show on the road, I can actually have this same setup here that'll just sit on a desk. So I'll be able to use all the components that I have, but I'll be able to take them with me on the fly, which will be very, very nice. So that's one of the things that's coming for me. And they're always coming out with new stuff, so I know that I'll be adding to this. But for functionality and getting up and running, this is what I needed, and everything worked out really, really well. So I get all of the VsionAir stuff from Coast Airbrush. So I'll put a link to Coast's site there as well. They were extremely helpful in kind of answering questions. You know, VsionAir, they themselves are really great about getting back to you too. So you can really, you really get all your questions answered. I know it's a lot. I know, when I got it, I was kind of overwhelmed with what I was going to do with it, but it falls into place quickly. So there you go. So this is your Tech Tuesday for this week. If you have any questions on any of the VsionAir pieces and bits and stuff that I use, just drop them in the comments. If you would like a closer, more in-depth look at one of the pieces individually, let me know that too. I'd be happy to do that. And then next Tech Tuesday will be actually on the actual tech, the monitor systems and the cameras and all that. So I think that'll be good to pop in on the next Tech Tuesday. So for Steve Leahy and Tech Tuesday and VsionAir, I will catch you guys on the next one.